Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'll be showing you how to use the selection tool and the options in the selection tool in Medibang Paint. I've done selection stuff with the other apps, but I haven't touched on this as much, and there's some different features in here that I just like to have a look at. One thing I do have to say is that in Medibang there are a few differences between the Android and iOS version, as I've had pointed out by my other art friends, so it might be a little bit different for you if you're using an iOS device. If you don't know what the selection tool is, it is a tool that will select an area in your canvas and then will stop you from drawing outside of it. You can also edit where the selection area is, and it is just really useful for things like coloring or for doing bucket-like effects and then adding details inside that area. It's just a really lovely tool. So with the selection tool in Medibang, it will be right up the top in this toolbar. There are 4 different options for it there, and the magic wand tool there is basically like the selection tool but a little bit different. So right up here there are a few options, of course, and they can all be used slightly differently, so we'll be going through all of them. This first one here, there are different ways to select areas. The automatic is on a square, where you can have a square area selected, but there is also a circle one where you can sort of essentially make a shape and then tie it back. And then one like this where you can draw the cut off pattern that you want. You can then also go to these icons next to the off. If it is on off, there will only be one selected area that you can do, but if you click plus, you can have multiple. If you click minus, it will essentially be deleting that part of the area with whatever you draw. Then once you have your selected area or areas, you're going to want to go out of this menu and to whatever drawing menu you're in, and you will see then that you can draw and it won't go outside the areas that you have selected. This means that you can do some really interesting patterns and some really funky things in things like line art or in already colored in areas. To get rid of this, all you have to do is click the deselect up here, and it will go away. Jumping back into the menu though, let's get rid of all of these. If you wanted to use this one next to that previous tool, this is the magic wand. This is essentially like using the bucket but for a selection area. So find somewhere you wanted to select. Let's just go for this area right here. And you tap on it with the magic wand and it would select it like that. This works the same with the plus and the minus. You can have several areas, but it will default to only letting you have one. You have expand, which, like with the bucket, means that it will expand however many pixels you select, wherever you tap. You then have close gaps, which is basically just detecting gaps and closing them for you. Then you also have the object canvas layer, which, just like in my bucket videos I've explained, this means that it will only recognize boundaries on either the canvas or the specific layer that you select. I tend to keep it on canvas for simplicity. Then we also have this tool right here, which is essentially where you can draw in your selection areas. It is in a red right now, so it's a little bit difficult to see because of how we have already drawn a lot of red on here, but this red that we're putting in right now is just going to be selection area stuff. In addition to this, you can also do the tool next to this, the last tool, and this is the same but just for erasing the drawn on selection areas that we have put on there. Then when you go out of this menu, it will turn into the selected area thing, and you can see that that's where we drew and where we erased. And so now that is its own selection area. You can go back in and edit this, by the way. It isn't just a solid thing. You can go back in and edit it and draw in more whenever you want to, which I think is really neat. Usually I'd recommend not doing this against something red though, because as we have learned here, it is a lot harder to see. Then when you are done with the selection tool, just click deselect and it will be gone, and then you've hopefully done whatever you wanted to do in that time. That was how to use the selection tool in Medibang specifically. I hope that you enjoyed and found this helpful, and if you did, consider supporting. Thank you for watching. Bye!